I just got out of the gym, so I just figured I want to point that out because this is about authenticity again. And yeah, look at my car. Gotta fix that. You notice I'm in my car, and I was in the gym, and I tend to do these things in my car, so it gave me the idea of authenticity and what it means to be authentic. And I think what we all need is space. And I don't mean uh, space as in being separate from people, but I mean a physical space. So, let me take this off. One of the things about Japanese culture is the desk in a child's room is the most important piece of furniture in their room. Not their bed, not a closet, a wardrobe, nothing. The desk. Why is the desk so important? Because they value academics. They value doing well in school. Even if you don't really go to college or you do anything like that and maybe you're a cashier instead or something like that. But the desk is the most important thing. While you are in your parents' house and you have a bedroom, that desk that you will do all your homework on and everything, that is going to be the most important part of your room. And what that means is you have a space. A student has a space to do their homework. A student has a space to study. A student has a space to, unfortunately, play computer games because a computer or a laptop will be on that desk. But they have a designated space. It's the same reason why you have a bed, right? You could sleep on the couch. You could sleep in your bathtub. You could sleep on the floor. But you have a bed because the bed gives your brain that mental cue of, hey, it's sleep time. I need to sleep. That's why your bed should be in the right place. It should be made, or it should have things that are inviting you to go to sleep. So when I say physical space, I'm in my car, right? Streamers have their own little corner of their room, or they might have a room dedicated to streaming. An artist might have their studio. Someone who works from home has an office, right? They're not sitting on their couch. I mean, they could be. They're not sitting at their dining room table, although they could be, but they tend to have their own office. You need to have your own physical space in order for you to be authentic. What that means is you could lie to everybody in public, you could be wearing the mask. But when you go home, you have that one little corner where you just get to be yourself. And that is important for everybody. So when I'm in my car, this is my space. I could eat in here. If I was going to smoke, I would smoke in here. You could have sex in here. It's a Tahoe, it's big, right? But it's my space. And a lot of people don't have that space anymore. They don't have that place where they could really be themselves. And then it shows in society, right? A lot of these offices, and I don't want to use IBM all the time, but IBM, their new building, is an open concept space. And I get it. You want it, the workspace to look more friendly, you want it to look more casual. But a lot of the people, this is the funny thing. This is a force of habit about humans. Once you pick a spot, that's your spot. And there's examples of this with school. When you go to school, if you don't have assigned seats, you go and you pick your space. You want to sit in the front, you sit in the front. You want to sit in the back, you sit in the back. You want to sit in the middle, you want to sit in the corner. You want to sit next to the window, you want to sit next to the door. That seat that you pick, you're there forever. That's your, because we're creatures of habit. That's your space. That's where you felt the most comfortable, and that's where you wanted to be. They also said the slackers and the bad kids would actually sit in the back, the good kids, or the good kids, whatever, sit in the front, and usually everybody else sits in the middle, right? That's why you have assigned seats when you go to school. They do it by your last name, but that's why you have assigned seats. So at IBM, even though it was an open office concept, there were people that were pretty much booking the small little offices, right? It's not a somebody's permanent office, but you could schedule it. People were booking those offices for the whole day. You could book it for like 4 hours, and you just book it twice in the day, and you have an 8-hour workday. So clearly people like their space. Clearly they like that area where they could be to just be themselves, even if they're the shittiest person in the world. That's why incels are so big. That's why people go online and they can say these things, because they have that space, the internet. And the thing is, when people attack incels, we need to understand, A, there's men and women incels, so I'm not speaking about men in general. But B, they don't feel comfortable anywhere else. And unfortunately, we've gone to the point in society and work culture that people need to log on to a goddamn computer to be safe and feel authentic. I had never felt authentic around certain people, right? When I used to film musicians, I used to film rappers. And there were some guys that, they were from the hood, and they went through their shit. But some of them were humble and some of them were jerks. And I never really fit in with the ones that tried to do that whole culture, the flashiness and everything. I'm very much a jazz, boom bap, old, slow beat kind of guy. A little bit of funk in there. I didn't fit in with the goths. I didn't fit in with all the EDM people that are, raving and jumping around, sometimes taking ecstasy. I didn't fit in with those people either. And even the people that my ex used to bring me around, I didn't fit in with them. And that was, that's something that contributes to what happened between myself and her. And I try to teach that to the kids. I tell them, if you don't want to be or need to be around somebody, then you don't need to be around somebody. So that's a way of forming your space. So authenticity, as I have to fix this, the car mechanically works. I put money into the car so it drives. This is nothing, it's cosmetic. Authentically, we need our physical space and we need our mental space. So the thing that I say to corporations, people feeling like they're doing imposter syndrome, and just if you're trying to market yourself, I just want everybody to understand that who you are is who you are. And you could be the crappiest person in the world, but if you get your job done, you get your job done. And as long as you have that authentic space where you can let everything out, then you should be okay. And I think a lot of people are suffering because they don't have that authentic space, right? You can't, I go to church, but I can't go to church every time. And also, I'm not the most holy person. I'm holier than I used to be, but, I'm not full on holy doing scripture and everything, but I appreciate God. I'm still, I still have anger. I still feel like I want to beat somebody up every now and then, but I don't act on that because I have a physical space where I can feel comfortable, like my car, right? If I need to decompress from work or from something else, I can come to the car. I mean, I went to the gym, but I can come back to my car. I could go in my room and go on my desk. When I stream, it says streaming the pain away because that's me being authentic. So, I was working out and I come to the car and sometimes I feel like never leaving the car, which honestly, if I could, I'd probably turn this into a camper van and just live in it because we've gotten to the point where society is so screwed up that I'd rather live in this goddamn car and call it a day. All I need is a remote job. So if anybody knows a remote job, like, let me know and I'll apply. But that's kind of what's going on. I would rather, because this is the only place I feel necessarily comfortable. At the end of the day, because it's getting too long for LinkedIn, you're going to be authentic under your circumstances. And I think society tries to push people to go out of their own circumstances. And that's fine. You should go out of your comfort zone because you can learn. But sometimes when you go out, it just reinforces what you were already feeling. So if you go out of your comfort zone and you realize, oh, this isn't for me, let me go back, there's nothing wrong with that because that's progress. It's better to go in a circle and go back to where you started with the new knowledge that you have rather than running around aimlessly or chasing something because you're still trying to learn and forsook, I guess. You've forsaken what you had or who you had, right? Or you, I guess, took it for granted. Although, don't let people take you for granted and don't take people for granted because it's a two-way street, right? That person who doesn't appreciate you, you either didn't appreciate them or it's the other way around and you both harbor resentment towards each other. And the thing is, you don't have to address resentment. Because if you address resentment, it means you're stuck in that feeling. That's what coming full circle is. Acknowledge your resentment, learn from it. Even if you got to double back down on who you initially was as a person before your experience, that's okay. But take the experience that you've had and apply it. So we need more physical spaces, I guess, is the rule. Because at the end of the day, I'm tired of all these life coaches popping up and they want me to pay for their services. And now we have Reiki healers showing up like, oh, I'll align your energy. You know what? Good for you. You're trying to make money off of it. But we didn't need that. Life just got screwed up by things that are not in our control. It's not in your control. So it's okay. Go back to your space. If you're angry, you're angry. If you're sad, you're sad. If you need to play games, play games. If you need to eat, eat. If you need to go to the gym, go to the gym. But everything in moderation. Because I'm not going to be praying everything off all the time. That's not how it works. God can give you the strength to move mountains, but you have to move the mountain. God isn't moving the mountain for you. And I think we all forget that. So go back to your space. It's okay how you feel. If you feel like you weren't productive, that's a lie. Every day you're doing something productive, whether you realize it or not. But you need to go back to your space to realize that. So accept your eccentricities.